Hello and welcome to Wednesday Debate live with Tagherit Hussein here on Nile TV International. Tonight we are in celebration, tonight and tomorrow of course. Tomorrow is June 30th and tonight in preparation for the big event, the big story for Egyptians, June 30th revolution, reflecting the people's will. So many happy returns for all Egyptians on the occasion of June 30th revolution. Tonight we'll be speaking more about a very important file. We'll be talking digitization and the new republic and the achievements of the revolution of June 30th revolution in the communication and technology field. As we know that the president had stressed the fact that the country spares no effort in order to develop the Egyptian character, and this is among the top priorities of the new republic. The core business of Egypt's comprehensive sustainable development. This is the soul of the new republic. Egypt is moving forward in the field of construction, the field of building, talking infrastructure, and also talking innovation. And when we talk innovation, we are also talking digitization and Digital Egypt, which is a very important and a comprehensive project that the country has worked on. The president launched the Digital Transformation Initiative to take Egypt to a higher level comprehensively. And I'm really honored to have with us tonight to talk about this important file Dr. Nezar Sami, Innovation and Technology Consultant. Thank you so much for coming, Dr. Nezar.
Thank you and good evening, Dr. Tagherit.
Good evening to you and to our dear viewers. And together we'll be talking about this important file right after the top stories. As you know, for the top stories of the day, earlier in the day, we have followed the presidential visit to Bahrain. The president and Bahrain's king, Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa, had witnessed the signing of cooperation agreements and memos of understanding in the different fields, including investments. Well, those memos were signed, including the fields of economy, the field of scientific and technological cooperation as well, and investments and boosting exports. There were also agreements in the legal and the judicial cooperation fields, holding exhibits, protecting the environment, and education. Both, of course, the Egyptian and the Bahraini leadership are keen on developing this sense of cooperation on the economic also and the investment sectors between the two countries. The current visit of President Sisi to Bahrain, his meeting with King Hamad, definitely come within the framework of the continued visits and consultations between both leaders and reflecting on bilateral relations. Welcome back, Dr. Nezar. Talking digitalization, which is really very important. It has been a priority throughout the past 8 years. We've seen our country moving forward to Digital Egypt, and this is a very important project. We knew how far it is important to us because it reflected more during, even as you remember, so to speak, during the COVID story and the COVID challenge. And Egypt is emerging a giant in the Middle East region. If we're talking about this file, it changed how the principles of international communications are. So talk to us tonight about the tools, how far it also affected the tools of communication.
Definitely, when you talk about the new republic or the new wave of building the new personality and new identity of the Egyptian citizens, all these elements are contributing through the Egypt Vision 2030. And if we recall the Vision 2030, it was about by 2030, the Egypt will be one of the competitive economies in the world based on diversity, based on innovation and knowledge as well. So for better lives for all the Egyptian citizens. And therefore, having a combination of the technological and information and communication technology and all the tools combined together to reach our vision in that sense. Therefore, by the year 2015, the inauguration of the Supreme Council for Digital Society under the auspices of his Excellency the Prime Minister, where we are connecting all the stakeholders in this field to communicate together to facilitate the infrastructure and to develop the new system for the new republic in Egypt right now. Later on, years and years afterward, the inauguration of Digital Egypt, as you mentioned, about the new pace of services, the new era of activities that will be catered for each and every person in the society, giving that nobody is going to be left behind out of this context. Therefore, the acceleration momentum of deployment of the infrastructure, internet capacities, telecommunication channels, different activities, and that so we can put them in one pot where we can all serve all the business needs, as well as to protect the businesses and to protect the assets for the future to be digital in Egypt in that direction. So in a nutshell, we can say that having a vision combined with persistence and perseverance from different leaders and the leadership of the country, put all these things together toward a targeted goal and target goal behavior. So all these things will result in some sort of new activities and new services for the society moving into the digital arena. Yeah. And thanks to COVID, that accelerated the utilization from the population to move into the use of the technology. As you all know that Egypt has a remarkable track record in telecommunication through, for instance, Telecom Egypt is one of the top 50 telecom operators in the world. Also, the Egypt Post services as well, one of the kind, like not only in the region, but in the world itself. Yeah. So in order to combine all these things and to have like the country identity, therefore the utilization for the technology is the most important part from each and every person in the country.
That's great. And taking from your words, Dr. Nezar, I'm glad that you've mentioned that nobody is going to be left behind, because this is actually the main motto, and this is what the President is working hard to achieve, talking about the Decent Life Initiative, talking about this sense of transformation. We're talking digital transformation and talking also the transformation of the lives of Egyptians. Look at the rural areas, the transformation that we see also on the ground. How can we make digitalization quite attractive for our youth, for instance, in the rural areas? Of course, it's ipso facto that we as Cairenes and in this area, we are used to dealing with technology. But how about reaching those? Because those are the ones who are in need, and nobody should be left behind.
Definitely. Thanks to Hayat Karima, or Decent Life Initiative, and it is recognized by the United Nations as one of the kind initiative in the world, even for the development of the nations and societies as well. And there are multiple layers in Decent Life Initiative per se. One of them is building the infrastructure. So the underground cables, underground pipes, all of these things, the sources of energy, water resources, having new renovation of houses, all of these things. But then the most important point, in the small villages, we can find like the technological connectivity is there. Each and every village has its own fiber cable connection, by the way. And this means that for this small village, it will be a hub for new digital services right now. And Egypt Post is putting a lot of emphasis in what we call the digital kiosk, where we can enable all the services coming into the for the society as well in the small village as well. So this is the key thing. So it is not just only having this type of what we call the FTTH technology, or what I mean the fiber to the home for those large prestigious compound, yet it is also for the small villages in the very small and rural areas in Egypt. All of them are covered with this type of connectivity. So to make it more attractive for users, it's all about the application. You and me and anybody watching us right now, we don't care about the technology. The sophistication of technology is not our role. There are tech readers, they know about it, there is their responsibility. But what we care about is about enabling services.
Yeah.
So do we have services on a timely manner, accessible, feasible and reliable as well. Reliability is most important thing.
Yeah.
So the attraction and the adoption of the technology is the key. It comes one by one, stage by stage, step by step. I will give some examples from I passed through for the last 2 years actually. In back to 2020, I hosted Sophie London, which was the Minister of Communication Technologies in Finland, and she told me that it took like 15 years in Finland to move into the digitalization and the digital transformation projects. And even for today, there was another session about e-justice programs right now conducted by the United Nations, and there was some of the success stories. It took from 15 to 20 years to move into this era because a lot of complexity in the system. And the bright side of the story that in Egypt we have a lot of channeling all the momentums and all the efforts to move to accelerate, not about 15 years, but it's much more shorter. For instance, in the connectivity layer, which is the very basic part of the digital transformation, when talking about connectivity and fiber cable connections all over the places, right now the mandate of the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology is to cover all over Egypt more than 30,000 government buildings with the fiber cable connections in 3 years. It was meant to be more than that, but luckily that all our, really I call them the tech soldiers in the field, they made it already, and they just one third is left to be completed in less than 3 years, which is really a remarkable insight as well. And it reflects the willingness of the leadership of the country to move into this era and to have what we call the decent life for each and every person in the society. Therefore, the attraction will come from the ease of use of the application for everybody in the society.
Yes, definitely. How easy is the application is, how feasible. Egypt has worked hard in order to establish this sense of solid foundation. And with a sense of keenness and a belief in the importance of digitization, I had all the honor to meet with His Excellency Minister Dr. Amr Talat, Egypt's Minister of Communication and Information Technology, where His Excellency has emphasized the road to digitalization and building the infrastructure that we are really very much proud of. We're really proud of His Excellency and of the great work that has been achieved in that respect, and the implementation of the different working strategies for the provision of the innovative digital technologies that we see in Egypt today. Let's watch excerpts of this interview.
Unique ability to merge a great heritage and a glorious history along with a promising future. And this is where heritage and technology meet. As you've rightfully said, definitely technology does play a great role in preserving this valuable and unique heritage of Egypt. This preservation is not only about manuscripts or documents or valuable books, but also about the great architectural heritage and treasures of the past in Egypt. Ministry of ICT is playing a pivotal role in cooperating with Ministry of Antiquities, with Cairo Governorate, with other governorates in preserving this heritage. We've also started a very interesting project to restore some of the historical buildings across the country and reuse them in a different usage. So we have a gorgeous palace in Heliopolis district, Sultan Hussein Palace, that has been restored by the Ministry of ICT and now turned into an incubator for tech startups. We're also doing a similar project in Giza Governorate for a historical building that was a brewery in the past. Now we're turning it into a huge incubator and training center. Only last week, the cabinet has approved starting a third project in the same context in Kafr al-Sheikh, where we're going to restore King Fuad's palace and turn it into an incubator and a training center for ICT.
Great news, Your Excellency. And talking about the Ministry of ICT, and as the whole country is preparing for a global event, an event that is branding Egypt globally, talking COP 27, 150 days nearly to go to COP 27. Well, what does we have in store? Sure, the ministry has done great effort in that respect, and also marketing Egypt through the ICT ministry to the whole world in preparation of the COP.
There is a lot that MCIT is playing in COP27 in cooperation with the rest of the ministries contributing to this extremely important event. Of course, the Ministry of ICT is accountable for the automation and the digital operation of the conference. In addition, we're working on other important initiatives in turning green. So we're replacing a lot of the copper network, the infrastructure with fiber optics to reduce emission. We're also turning the operation of the landing stations of the international cables in Egypt to green energy in order to reduce emissions. Also, we have issued a mandate for data centers that stipulate that all new data centers in Egypt must be green data centers. So we're very keen on playing our role in turning green and reducing the emissions.
مصر فيها 100 مليون. مصر كمان مساحتها 1,000,000 كيلومتر مربع. بس في حجم ضخم جدا من الأراضي احنا مش عايشين عليه. ما خدناش بالنا على مدى 60-70 سنة فاتوا ان الكلام ده هيبقى ليه تأثير كبير جدا وخطير على حياتنا ومستقبلنا. لكن احنا مش سايبين لا القاهرة ولا اسكندرية ولا بورسعيد ولا المحافظات، بنتحرك في كل القديم والجديد مع بعض عشان يليق بينا ويليق بالمصريين يعني. الموضوع مش مباني بس، لا ده تطور كبير قوي احنا بنعمله. فأرجو ان احنا نستعد مفكرين مثقفين فنانين. هذا الحدث الكبير ميلاد دولة جديدة بافتتاح العاصمة الجديدة. ميلاد دولة جديدة. إعلان جمهورية تانية.
One of the most important achievements of June 30th revolution is the vision to build a new republic. And as His Excellency President Sisi has emphasized, he was talking more about the new administrative capital, which is considered to be a source of pride for all of us as Egyptians and Arabs as well. Digitalization is a very important core of the capital of the new republic.
Definitely. When we have a look into the new administrative capital and the new republic, the administrative capital, the good news, by year 2021 was elected by the Arab League as to be the digital city in the Arab region, which is digitally born. Mm-hmm. So it is equipped, the city or the capital is equipped with all the new technological aspects, starting from the monitoring services, starting from the connectivity in different places with cutting edge technologies in that area, also having the knowledge village or the knowledge city,
yes.
and it will be inaugurated soon, having the more than one building or one building body inside this city, which will be the hub for the knowledge dissemination in the area of the technology and information and communication as well in the region. So the most important part is that technology is there to serve the human context. This is the key differentiation. When we talk about having the technology, having those type of infrastructure, moving to the new era of services, all of these things is all about rebuilding the identity of the Egyptians.
We can see the beauty here of the new administrative capital.
The administrative capital, as we see here right now, and all the different spots there to be a new hub, even in the sports facility, the culture heritage even is an extremely important part in that. We saw a lot of activities taking place in the administrative capital right now, and the movement of the government one by one, in terms of what we call it the soft opening right now. You saw many ministries started to move to their locations right now, and the opera house and all these type of mixing the technology with the normal life in a new blend of way of reshaping the digital identity of the Egyptian society.
Yes, great that you've mentioned, Professor, changing the digital identity. While we are moving forward to investing in the human capital, and as His Excellency Minister Talat has emphasized, we are also preserving our heritage. And this is very important to make use of the technological tools that we do have in the present in order to safeguard the beauty of the past.
Definitely. When we see over the past 4 or 5 years, the level of investment in the human capital in the area of the technology, and in terms of funding, in terms of programs, in terms of the diversity of tools and initiatives coming into place, we found that the main concern right now is all about rebuilding the identities and the digital identity of you and me and everybody in the society as well. And of course, we cannot live without having our heritage, we can live with our origins and our core values, and how this will be modernized using the technology, how we can live back to old ancient lives and mix that with the mixed reality, and to use the technology to see how beautiful was the life at that ancient ages. So we can mix what we call about the augmented reality of the technology and the augmented reality of the application. You can see this in type of museums, even the inauguration of the Grand Museum as well. Also, not but in this instant, but in the world, world-class conferences or activities taking place. And it's worth mentioning, like the COP27 will be fully equipped and fully immersed with a new era of technological development, and the technology is playing a cutting edge and cutting role in different flavors, starting from connectivity, accessibility, even having access to people with disabilities as well. So we'll have a good chunk of utilization of technology for the PWDs or people with disabilities. So nobody is going to be left behind. This is the key message. And technology is there for better lives and to serve the human context in a way or another.
Yes, serving the human context in a way or another is very important, and also working on jobs. It's very important for the people, for the youth, to feel that there is tomorrow. Digitalization and job creation are interrelated too.
Definitely. When we see the landscape of the education right now, education systems coming into place, let's focus, for instance, in the university lives, and what are the different programs taking place in that, not only in the university, but it was extended backward to the schools and the K-12 or the grade 12 as well. So we see that there are some extracurricular activities and initiatives started with the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology to promote the future jobs, which is extremely important part, because when you call back to 2018, the World Economic Forum issued a report about mentioning the new jobs taking place into the market, and you'll be astonished that the top 15 jobs are all technological related jobs rather than the very normal classical activities or jobs taking place. So there will be taking off like more than 75 million jobs from the marketplace, but introducing a new 133 new jobs that were not been there before. Therefore, it was extremely important to equip our youth with the possible tools to move in that. So different initiatives coming in the information Ministry of Communication and Information Communication Technology in that area, in digital marketing, artificial intelligence, robotics, digital arts as well, starting from the very introductory level courses for anybody who would like just to, he or she wants to skim the market and to get acquainted about what's going on, till if you like, you will be an expert in the area of the field, you will have the program for that. And if you'd like to pursue your academic career as well, there is a very prestigious master's program with the world-class university in the world, which is called DEBI, Digital Egypt Builders Initiative, where we are equipping the graduates in information technology and computer science with linkages with master's program and world-class universities in different disciplines, which is extremely important area, by the way. And I recall the inauguration of this program, one of the questions was addressed to His Excellency the Minister, Dr. Amr Talat. He said, the minister said, we are giving all these programs for free for our Egyptian candidates and the youth. So they came, one of the questions, so how about if this candidate will get use of this program and then travel abroad? What will be the case? How are we going to give back to the country? I actually give the credit to the minister. He mentioned that if this person will leave the country, we will be able to create or to discover more and more youth and more good candidate in that area. And actually this is the soft power of the Egyptian and the Egyptian youth in to move and to invade actually the market, and which this is the right time to move in that direction. So we have this extracurricular activities and programs and the master's program as well, which is the very prestigious part. And then we can move to universities, and we can see right now the new era of the artificial intelligence and the ignition of new universities with new disciplines and new area. Most of them are technologically equipped with that. So if you are a university students and you would like to pursue your career, then go to this type of universities, and also the EUI, which is the Egyptian University of Informatics. It's also in the new administrative capital, and it has like a very unique blend of business and technology in one pot. So you'll find this is a career path, very interesting, of course, with a very prestigious, again, world-class universities in the world to localize and to have what we call technology transfer for the city, technology transfer for the country as well, in order to create the future generations in that area, as we see.
Definitely. Well, more and more concerning digitalization, and the country launched, for instance, the Nafisa initiative in order to facilitate the review and the release of the imported shipments upon their arrival at the port of entry within Egypt. Many applications and many initiatives that has been launched to facilitate those stories of success. Short break. We're still celebrating, of course, June 30th revolution. Tomorrow here on Nile TV International is going to be a day for celebration too, where we are going to see together the different achievements of the new republic in the various domains. Stay tuned. We hear in the headlines more about startups, for instance, and startups rely heavily on technology and on digital technology specifically. How can we encourage more startups, Dr. Nezar?
Well, this is a very good question, and let's put a model for how the businesses is operating for a more sustainable and sustainable growth. Imagine that this is a working body. This body has the following pillars. The first pillar is the technological development area, or the technology available column. The second column will be the access to finance, where we need to have access to investments coming in and out. And the third pillar will be the access to market. And all of these pillars, in order to be stable, they should stand over a very robust and solid foundation. This solid foundation is all about policy, rules, regulation, and legislative systems. Having this type of structure, then we can say that we have a sustainable development growth for any system. When we reflect this back into the startups and the focus in that, I would like to shed the light that in a couple of days ago, we were celebrating the National Day of Entrepreneurship for the third year. And it was a lot of, it consisted of a lot of activities to move forward, starting from graduation of many incubators in the tourism, in the agriculture, and different activities related to incubation management and all of these things. Also combine that with a lot of discussion and panels and see how the future is taking that. Also, the last week there was a great conference about connecting investments in Egypt and with the relationship with the Central Bank of Egypt and with the relationship with the investors. And to give some sort of insights and numbers, in the African continent, in the last year, there is actually injected more than $600 billion to invest in the different countries. Egypt, Nigeria, and Rwanda and Kenya were the top countries receiving those type of funds and investments. That's and great. One of those or the areas are about technological development, the financial technology track as well, also anything related to the tech-enabled businesses like agri-tech, health tech, all of these things are taking place. So in order to encourage startups to move forward, actually the funding issue is not that on the top of the priority for the startups to move forward. Right now, there are a lot of funding opportunities coming in the place, and let me call one of those type of reports came a couple of months ago, mentioning that Egypt right now is #1 attracting investment in Africa, as well as the second best in the Arab region, where it's number of spin-offs and number of startups coming out. Also, the investment coming into the country as well. So we are in action, attracting businesses. And let me call His Excellency President Sisi in the Arab Youth Forum when he mentioned that we need to build what we call the international incubator, an international platform where we can host startups, which would, in the terms of what we call the soft landing process, instead of exporting as well our startups to the world. And we have right now, we are very proud to have more than one unicorn. And the term one unicorn, it means this company valuation exceeded $1 billion. We have more than one company, Egyptian company as well, taking place in this area. And they are one of those about the transportation business and the other in the fintech or the financial technologies. So funding and funding opportunities is there. The most important part is all about giving the right signal to the right people to move into the right direction using what we call the appropriate technology. Yeah. So how we can utilize the technology to solve a problem with a very easy and fast-moving action with these applications. So this is the secret sauce of the solution. If you have a wonderful team, they are capable, they have a clearly defined problem statement, utilizing the proper technology. And we are not just to be proud that they are developing an artificial intelligence tool. You and me, we don't care about this type of technological sophistication. We care about does this application serve my need or not? If yes, then much welcome to be deployed and to be used all over the place. And therefore, we need to think about the underserved areas. We need to think about areas that are out of the horizon, out of the radar of everybody. For instance, can we find things, for instance, in the transportation business, in the manufacturing business as well, in agribusiness is one of the key important. How about textile businesses? How about health tourism? Again, is part of the important areas that we need to focus in the coming future.
Yes, definitely. The future is bright if there is a team working for tomorrow. And taking from your words concerning there should be a team working. And on that special occasion, I pay tribute to the team of Nile TV International who has prepared a special day tomorrow on the occasion of celebrating June 30th revolution. Let's see together Usud, a beautiful song and a portrayal by our dear Marwa Ahmed, and how she portrayed the vibes and beat of June 30th revolution and also the achievements in this beautiful song. Let's watch. Yes, Usud وقد الوعود, always up to the promises, and those are the vibes of June 30th revolution, giving us a sense of positivity, overwhelming, and also a sense of persistence, because if there is persistence to achieve our targets, definitely this will happen. Where there is a will, there is always a way. Dr. Nezar, talking about soft power and digitalization, and soft power during the past 8 years has been manifested magnificently. We've seen, you know, Egypt has been in the headlines, whether through the Royal Golden Mummies Parade and the Rams Road, and it was really an unprecedented scene, and digitalization and this sense of communication with the other was also overwhelming.
Definitely. Let's go back about the Usud. The future is what we are building now. This is the key message that we need to think of right now. So anything we are building right now is all about creating and shaping our future. And if we recall the parade of the mummies and the great innovation, the great inauguration of the El Kibash Road in Luxor, and all these type of such inaugurations, technology were playing a vital role for these type, starting from the media, the production, the use of like the whole scene, creating the buzz about that, not only in just the production layer, but also in the operations as well. For instance, the new cultural museum, if we go there, we can see a blend or the mix with a very special the sense of the future, animated and use the different types of technologies to move from the ancient ages till the new modern and new modernization life as well. So the technology is just a tool for highlighting bits of pieces of what we have in place. So it's all about our persistence, as you mentioned, perseverance, in order to create this type of legend for the future and to leave an impact. This is the most important part, how we can leave and lead with an impact for the society. And right now, there are a lot of studies taking place on a global level about the impact investment, what we call. So how we invest in something, not just only money, but we can invest in people, we can invest in culture, we can invest in heritage, and so on and so forth, and how this is paying back and returning back to what we call the impact to the society and wealth creation and prosperity. And most important part right now is, for anybody, is all about wealth creation. Job creation as well is one of the new mandates. So we need to give the signals for everybody. Please, you need to upgrade your skills. You need to upgrade your competencies in order to lead the future, because the future is digital. We need the digital skills, digital leadership, digital thinking. We need to think in a digital performance, in a digital way. So we need to know what are the capabilities of the tools that we have in order to change the way we are thinking of, and therefore we can create what we call our digital identity as such.
Yes, our digital identity is very important, to have an identity and to have a character, and that's why Egypt has moved faster on the road of being digitized in digital Egypt. Of course, as we follow these days, we have the Thanawi Amma going on, the exams, and the students are sitting for those exams that are considered to be decisive, of course. The alarm bell in those houses, because it's the career of their sons and their daughters and their future. Talking about digitalization and its role in fighting any sort of corruption and preventing any sort of leakage of exams, how was that? How do you think it made a difference?
I will give a short story in a couple of seconds. Back to 2001, remember, with the inauguration of the Ministry of Information and Communication Technology, I was one of the members of the e-learning task force. And at that time, we were studying how we can move into the e-learning society, and we were divided into smaller task forces, and one of them was about infrastructure, content, and so on and so forth. And surprisingly, at that time, 2001, connectivity was not the problem. You can imagine how far Egypt had doubled and tripled the number of the internet connectivity and capacity, the number of lines and so on and so forth. Right now, we have in Egypt, with the statistics, like more than 98% of the Egyptian societies, they have access to mobile phones, and more than 71 million, they have internet access, and more than almost 50 or 51 million, they have social media access at that time. Back to 2001, the numbers were really different. We were way of this number of figures. But the key problem of deploying the e-learning platform was about the examination and how we ensure that there is no sense of corruption and so on, and cheating, and all these type of areas coming on the pop-up on the service. And 20 years later, 2021, we saw and we witnessed the Minister of Higher Education mentioning that right now we have an automated examination system on the university as well, and so on and so forth. For me, I'm optimistic by nature, but the most important part, I'm not worried about about cheating and all this type, because technology, it takes time to be populated in order to be disseminated in the proper position. So there is a transition period, okay, from the normal classical system, because this normal classical system, they have some sort of beneficiaries by a way or another. But when we move into digital, we have digital governance, we have digital control, and we have to assure that we have to move into the digital way in a sense in that. So it is a transition stage. Maybe we have some sort of challenges for this year. These challenges definitely were less than the year before, and of course the coming year will be less and less, then until we reach what we call the digital maturity, where everybody is happy with the use of technology in different aspects of life.
Definitely we will be reaching digital maturity through our sense of perseverance that we were talking about. Talking technology it would take hours, and really interesting talk tonight. Thank you so much, Dr. Nezar Sami, Innovation and Technology Consultant, for coming to Wednesday Debate Live. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations for the 30th of June. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Congratulations for the 30th of June revolution. Stay tuned to Nile TV International. Tomorrow is another day. It's a big day. It's a day that we are all proud of. I'm Taghirit Hussein. Many thanks for watching.